What is up, you guys? For today's video, we are going to be testing out a super hyped item right now, and that is the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, a collaboration with Morphe. And I gotta say, this is my first time ever trying out a Jaclyn Hill collaboration. I have never tried out any of her other palettes or even her highlighters. So I gotta say, I have like a little bit of like mixed feelings about this palette, and we'll get into that in a minute. But if you haven't seen the inside of this palette, oh my gosh, like literally this palette is like something that I could see myself wearing all the time. Like these types of colors are totally me. Like I love all these like purples and the reds and the oranges. Like man, the colors in here are so stunning. But nonetheless, if you'd like to see how I did this look using this palette as well as my thoughts and opinions about it, then just stay tuned on watching. However, before we jump into it, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And also, if you'd like to check me out on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten, where I post a bunch of my tutorials over on there if you're looking for some inspiration. So before we jump into using this palette, you could probably guess what we're going to be doing, and that is priming our eyelids using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. So once you prime those babies up, now we can jump into using this palette. And seriously, everybody has been saying that this palette looks so muted in person. I don't see it. Like, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, and it looks so rich in color. Especially these two bottom rows right here. Like, they keep on catching my eye because I just love, like, those dark, rich colors right now. And this palette definitely gives me that vibe. But I gotta say, like, I actually think that this has a really cool color story to it. Like, it doesn't scream, like, super basic to me, and that's kind of like the vibe that I was getting from other videos that I've seen. But I think the first shade that I want to go into is this really pretty, like, grape purple shade, and that is called Therapy Sesh. And then using this Morphe brush from their holiday set, it is a super big fluffy blending brush. I'm going to be applying this right into my crease, and then doing these little circular motions to blend that upwards towards my brow. And I'm also using it to round out my outer V just a little bit. And keep in mind when I'm doing this, I'm really smoking this look out because I want to do something super dramatic and smoky today. But wow, that color is so pretty. Like dang, like that is pigmented too. So I'm just gonna go in with a second layer just to see if we can get this color a little bit brighter and just a little bit more intense, because you guys know me, like I love my looks super intense right now. So once you have that applied, the next shade that we are going to be going in with is seriously the shadow that catches my eye every single time that I look at this palette. Like it is like no joke, like my eye literally goes right to it. And that is this beautiful rich purple shade called Not My Journey. So I'm just gonna go in with this number 7 brush out of the BH Cosmetics Lavender Luxe set. And I'm going to be popping this right into my crease and then doing these little circular motions to blend that upwards into the purple that we just applied. And I'm also using it to round out that outer V. And again, I'm just going to go in with a second layer because I want to see if we can get this shadow like super rich and deep in color because it is so pretty. It really reminds me of Poison Plum from Sugar Pill, if you guys have ever used that shadow before. That used to be my all-time favorite purple shadow, like back in the day when I was just getting into makeup. So after working with the shadow and, you know, like building up the color and blending it out, I have noticed it has been giving me a little bit of a harsh line that is really tricky to blend out. I'll show you guys what I mean like up close, but you can kind of see it's like right in here. Like it's not terrible, but it definitely is there, and you can kind of see it a little bit more on this side, at least in my opinion. It's like right in here, which is unfortunate because this shadow is so pretty. I'll show you guys like how I'm trying to fix it, but I'm trying to do like these little circular motions just to try to like really like buff it out. But as you can see, it just doesn't want to budge. So I would actually say that the purples in this palette, like they're not terrible, but they're not my favorite. So once you have that blended out, the next shade that we are going to be going in with, I feel is the shade that is going to definitely change up this look a little bit, and that is this really pretty deep, rich oxblood red shade called Crazy. And then using this BH Cosmetics number 6 brush out of the Lavender Luxe set, I'm going to be applying this into my crease as well as using it to round out my outer V. And I decided to use a shadow instead of using a black shadow because, I don't know, I feel like that's just so typical, and I just wanted to kind of mix things up a little bit. And I also was really curious about this shade because you just don't see these types of reds included in a lot of palettes. Man, I just love the richness of this look. It gives like a very like royal feel in a way. I don't know, I just love the vibe of it. But I will say, if you're a beginner, you're probably gonna have a lot of problems and might even struggle with those deeper matte shades. So do keep that in mind if you do get this palette, because it definitely took me a hot minute to blend them out. I feel like I was able to blend them out though. Like I feel like everything looks fairly nice right now and where I want it to be. But nonetheless, off camera, I'm just gonna quickly cut my crease and then I'll be right back. So once you cut the crease and the base is 100% dry, now we can start working on the lid. And I want to do something a little bit different today. So I want to go in with this really pretty shimmery red shade called Empowered. It's like a red, but then it has like a little bit of a pink reflect to it. And then using this teeny tiny little flat shader brush dampened, I'm going to be packing this on in the outer third of my lid. Okay, like she was pigmented. Like that was only one dip. Like that is insane. Also, I really enjoy the undertone of this. Like, it's such a pretty red. So I'm just gonna go in with a second layer because that first layer, like, it gave me pigmentation, but it didn't give me the sparkle factor that I was looking for. So I'm hoping that the second layer will kind of do it for us. Oh yeah, it definitely needs 2 layers if you want it to be extra shimmery. So once you have that applied, as you can see, we have this really ugly harsh line going on right there because of cutting our crease. And girl, we do not want that harsh line. The only harsh line that we want is our cut crease. So we're gonna get rid of this. And what I'm going to do is take that deep red shade that we used earlier called Crazy, and I'm going to be packing it right on that harsh line. And then afterwards, I'm just going to start flicking it inwards to blend it into that shimmer. And the brush that I'm using is an Anastasia A13. It's like a fluffy flat shader brush. This is looking like a late Valentine's Day look, but I'm here for it. I just love this like shimmery red next to these purples. And part of me doesn't really know what I want to do now because I love this like lighter purple into the red that we have going on. And then the other part of me wants to go in with the neon pink, but you know what? I think we're going to go in with the neon pink just to kind of spice things up a little bit. And that shade is called Tipsy Girl. I really hope that this doesn't mess it up, but what I'm going to do is take Tipsy Girl on this larger flat shader brush. And I'm going to be packing it anywhere that that base is still showing. And when I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I am pressing it in. Okay, that is not as pigmented as I was expecting it to be. Like, I swatched it on my leg before I applied it, and I was like, ooh, that's pigmented. And then I'm applying it, and I'm like, where's the pigment? Because it was, like, super intense on my leg, but, like, on my eye, not so much. So I'm just going to go in with a second layer because this is a neon pink, and a lot of times neons just need that second layer just to be super intense. But like, wow, like that next to that red is gorgeous. Like, I love those two together. And I will say what I have gathered from using this palette is that it does have a buildable formula, which is going to be really nice, especially if you are a beginner. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like those deeper mattes are really tricky to use, but the other ones that we have been using are actually really nice. And I actually do prefer a buildable formula, especially with brighter shades, because I feel like you get a little bit more control with them, and then you can also build them up and blend them out a lot better too. Okay, but this neon pink is so cool and just so vibrant. I just love how it looks. And I also really like it next to like these reds and then like the purple that we have going on. I think it just looks awesome. But I will say, since it is a matte finish, I don't like it next to that shimmery red. I just find that it looks a little off. So what we're going to do is go into this shade called I'm In It. It's like an icy shade with a pink reflex shimmer. And I feel like that would be like the perfect eyeshadow topper to this because I don't really see like a pink shimmer in this palette. So we're just going to use that instead. I'm really hoping that this doesn't look weird afterwards. Like, I have like a fear in the back of my head that this is gonna completely wreck it, but you know what, we're just gonna go with it anyways because it looks a little strange right now. So I'm just gonna go in with this Anastasia A3 brush, and I'm just packing it right on top of that bright pink. Okay, that made it look so cool. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I gave it like this like extra pizzazz, and it just has like this really pretty like pinky purple reflect now on top. But I will say, like, I wish that this palette did have like a neon pink shimmer. I feel like it would have really added a lot. Okay, but I am literally falling in love with this. I love that this look is very like vibrant yet smoky at the same time with a punch of color. And also, I really enjoy that shade that we just applied over the neon pink. Like, it really transformed it. Like, it made it like that glittery neon pink that I was looking for. And it also like brought in this like little hint of like a lavender reflect, which really ties in those purples that we have going on. I don't know, like, I just think it looks really awesome. But off camera, I'm just gonna quickly clean things up a little bit as well as apply my complexion products, and then I'll be right back. So here's where I'm at right now after applying my complexion products, and man, this is definitely looking like a Valentine's Day look, but again, I'm not really mad about it because I just love these colors so much. But today, I want to mix things up a little bit with the lower lash line. Normally, I would go in with like a burgundy or like a purple or maybe even a hot pink, but I just want to like spice it up a little bit. So what we're going to do is line our waterline using this ColourPop gel liner pencil in the shade Venus. It is a true red pencil. So once you have that liner applied, now we are going to start smoking out the lower lash line, and the shade that we are going to be going in with is the red out of the palette called Livin' My Best. And then using this Luxie 231 small taper blending brush, I'm just going to do back and forth motions to smoke down that lower lash line and also set that liner into place. But I do want to stress, since we are using red on the lower lash line, you don't want to bring it down too far, otherwise you're going to look like you have like an eye infection or something. So you want to be pretty mindful of it. But like, dang, like that red underneath the lower lash line looks so cool. But now we're going to start doing the inner corner highlight, which you guys know is my absolute favorite part. And the shade that we are going to be going in with is not actually out of the Jaclyn Hill palette. Like, we could go in with the lightest shimmer in that palette, but I feel like it would just look way too similar if we put it in the inner corner since we just used it on top of that hot pink. And I mean, if you look at it, we have like a pinky red situation going on, and I want something a little bit different. So what we're going to do is go in with one of my all-time favorite highlighting palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and we're going to be going in with this shade right here that is a pinky shade called Unicorn. And then using this Moda Brush's little pencil brush dampen, I'm going to be popping this right into my inner corner, and I'm also bringing it underneath the inner tear duct area to open up the eye. Okay, but that looks so cool. Oh, I love that. I love Unicorn. Like, literally, this palette is worth it for Wish and Unicorn alone just because they're just so unique. You never see shades like that. And, like, dang, like, this literally is looking like a Valentine's Day look. But yeah, so here's the finished look using the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. And seriously, I had so much fun using this palette with you guys today. This is actually my first ever Jaclyn Hill collaboration item. So like, I did not know what to expect with this, but man, am I loving this like full-on finished look that we got. It's just so edgy and so fun at the same time. But nonetheless, I do want to give you guys my thoughts and opinions about this palette. So let's talk about the eyeshadow formula because, girl, at the end of the day, that is the only thing that matters with this palette. And I gotta say, the mattes in here are really beautiful. Like, they have such a nice richness to them, and also they are really pigmented. But I will say the purple mattes that we used, they're just not my favorite. I mean, this like lighter purple that we used, like, she's really pretty in the pan, and also this deeper one too. But when you start applying them, they look a little uneven on the eyes, and also this deeper one right here gave me a really bad harsh line that was really tricky to blend out. So if you don't want to sit there and blend out your eyeshadow for a really long time, or if you're a beginner, it will give you a lot of problems. But at the end of the day, I was able to get it to blend out. It just took me a lot of elbow grease and time to do so. However, the matte reds in here, oh my gosh, like literally they are perfection. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but like, dang, I am just so impressed with them. You know, like this one that we used on the lower lash line, like it is just so pigmented. It was so easy to work with. Not to mention when I was blending it out, it did not turn like a hot pink, because a lot of reds, like when you start blending them out, they really give like a pink hue to them, whereas this one did not do it to me. And also this deep rich oxalate one called Crazy is absolute perfection. It is so hard to find really nice deep reds that also have a really great formula to them, and that one has been amazing for me too. As for the shimmers in this palette, they honestly remind me of all of the other shimmers that I have in my other Morphe palettes, so that means that they're a little bit more on the buildable side, but you are able to get them really intense. You just have to apply them wet and do a couple of layers. And I mean, like, they're cute, but I really wish that they were a little bit more sparkly like the ones in the Such a Gem palette. So when it comes down to it, would I recommend the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette to you guys? And honestly, I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you're looking to support Jaclyn or if you love the color story of it. I think you're going to be overall really happy with it. I will say though, the purples in here, they're not my favorite, but they're not really that bad. Like, at the end of the day, I was able to get them to blend out and be where I want them to be. It just took me a lot more time and a lot more elbow grease to do so. But I will say, if you're only looking at this palette for the purples, I would actually pass on it, and I would get the Morphe Such a Gem palette instead. Seriously, the purples in that palette have like the most amazing formula to it, and it's actually my top 3 all-time favorites. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this look, and also let me know what you think about this palette too, because I would love to hear what you think about it as well. And as always though, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And also, if you'd like to check me out on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kin. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!